Hello and welcome to day 8 of the festive tech calendar. Happy Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, whatever you are celebrating at the moment, or whether it is just enjoying the fantastic tech from all the other amazing speakers. And I'd like to speak a big thank you to Gregor Suti for kicking off this initiative and for all the hard work that he does to make this happen. Today, I am going to be talking about improved well-being with Viva Insights Premium. As it is Christmas, what's better well-being than a nice glass of red wine? So if that is your tipple, do feel free to drink along with me today as well. I am Kevin McDonnell. I'm the Head of Practice for Modern Workplace at CPS, a UK-based Microsoft partner. Been working in the SharePoint, Office 365, various other renames along the way world for more years than I care to remember. I've started off over in the financial services on the client side, and then moved over to consulting about 6-7 years ago on there. 2 times MVP, very lucky to have been awarded that by Microsoft. I'm very thankful for that all the time. I'm also the co-host, the Grey Hat Beard Princess podcast. So if you like to listen to all things Microsoft 365 in the modern workplace, go and give us a listen as I chat with Al Erdley, Gary Trinder and Louisa Fries. And we often bring a guest on as well to talk about the kind of latest different things going on there. The reason I'm here today, I'm also a Viva Explorer, so sharing the what, the why and the how of Microsoft Viva. And actually I'm the Viva Transformer as my character within that, because it's not just about understanding why, important part of it. It's not just understanding what it is, but how do you get Viva out to people as well? And that's one of the areas I often like to explore. For those who may look at my lovely Minesweeper Christmas jumper there, showing that up from there. I do love a bit of Christmas, and I was over in Copenhagen last week for the European SharePoint conference, and I can tell you how much I love Christmas because I wore my Christmas shirt. Didn't quite expect to have the welcome of that appearing on the giant 30-foot board. Sorry, 2 giant 30-foot boards. So a big thank you to Zoe Wilson for taking that photo and sharing it round to quite so many people on there. But no, I do like to have a bit of Christmas, so we'll try and bring a little bit of Christmas cheer to this technical subject today. In terms of what we're going to cover, we're going to talk about why Insights is needed, why Viva Insights is needed, how it helps managers on there, and how leaders can use it as well. I'm going to take it beyond Microsoft Teams because it is there within the flow of work. That reminds me, one of the things I've said in the workshop I did with Zoe Wilson and Chirag Patel is every time you hear the phrase flow of work, it is time to have a drink. Fantastic drinking game for Christmas. And as I said it there, it's only fair that I bring that in as well. I'm going to talk about how it goes beyond Teams and then wrap up a little bit. Now, where does this sit? It's worth saying that we are talking about the 4 new pillars of Microsoft Viva. We've got connections, which includes connections, as well as we'll have Viva Amplify in there and Viva Engage. And that's about connecting people to the organisation, connecting people to the tools they need to be productive. We've got purpose, and I know Carolina's going to be talking about OKRs in Viva goals on there, how you can get that purpose across the organisation. We'll talk about growth with Viva topics, Viva learning, how you as an employee can grow to meet the needs of the organisation and your own needs as well. But I'm focusing on that insight area today. Includes Viva Insights. There is the kind of personal element to it, the individual, which I know Kat Beedham is going to be speaking about as part of this festive tech calendar. There's Viva Pulse that is coming soon that I think is covered by someone else in terms of the new things going on. But I'm going to be focused on Viva Insights Premium within this and how it supports your leaders and managers as well. So As we go through, I'm going to start off with a bit of the why. And if you haven't read it, do go and have a look at the Microsoft 2022 Work Trend Index, where they went and interviewed and surveyed a lot of people and brought all that evidence back into one big report. And it was found that 53% of employees are more likely since the pandemic to prioritise their health and how they feel, their well-being over just the work. So whereas a lot of people previously would be looking at have I got the right interesting work? Is it challenging me there? It's also about how you feel, how much time you have to actually recover and feel human almost from that side. Have you got time to spend with your family to do other pursuits on there? I'm actually a cub leader in my spare time. I volunteer to help the children there on there. And do I feel I have the time to do it? It's actually very important when I go and look at different roles on there. And so employees are starting to look with the pandemic, they've got more and more options. And there's 5 aspects that employees want. They want that positive culture. They want to work for an organisation that isn't always negative. It's pushing things forward, making things happen, looking at how they can get the next thing there. They also care about the mental health and well-being benefits. So is there mental health first aiders then available there? Are they giving those extras that can help your well-being as well as the day-to-day? And do you get that sense of purpose? Do you understand what it is that you do and how that applies to the organisation? Or even to the wider world, things like non-profits who are looking to support better worlds for us to live in, a better country for us to live in. Are you feeling past that? Do you understand what you do as part of your job is playing into that? Another one is flexible working hours. So more and more as people have realised that maybe they've got children and want to work around their children's hours. Maybe it's just a case of knowing when you work best. I know some people, Chirag Patel found a lovely sticker at the European SharePoint conference that was all about whether you should take a nap. And he has found that during his day, taking a nap, I think he does it 2 or 3 times a week in the middle of the afternoon, has made him so much more productive. And it's that flexibility to be able to do that a lot of employees are looking for. And then others are looking for more than standard vacation. Is there the opportunity to buy extra time, to take longer trips away, to take sabbaticals and things? All of that is feeding into whether you feel it's worth it. So as a manager or as a leader, how does this play into what you do? You're kind of thinking about, have you got that positive culture for there? And to do that, you need to have the insights to provide the actual information for that to happen. Are you putting in place quality meetings that actually mean that your employees are getting the most from the time they're spending? Are they getting enough time with their manager? Are you, as a manager, spending enough time with your employees to make them feel engaged and connected? Are they getting the right balance of that collaboration time of having meetings versus time to actually get things done? And it can be both ways. Are they not having enough time being connected with, or are they spending too much time in meetings and not being given time to get their work that they need done? And then there's things like network size, where you're looking at, are there kind of lots of silos within the organisation, groups that are kind of just sitting together and not necessarily connecting with different areas? And I've certainly seen that during the pandemic, that's become a bigger and bigger problem that's impacting people as well. And what Viva Insights Premium gives you is all those different triggers. It's aggregating that behaviour from Teams, Outlook, even opening up your Office documents. Every time you do that, it is layering into that central system and providing data in there. And you can build on that to give those powerful insights with your own descriptors that align with what it is you're looking to achieve for your organisation. And as I say, there's those 3 elements. So on the right, you've got those all employees that are maintaining habits that are going on. You want those managers to be able to drive changes for the organisation, and for leaders to be able to understand what it is, the opportunities that are there, or where they feel there is an opportunity, to be able to get evidence to back that up and pull it through as well. So it's kind of spotting those patterns, but also taking that gut feel and being able to apply real evidence. I hope Zoe Wilson won't mind me quoting the story she's told about Avanade, where they were looking at maybe changing the hours and either providing general flexible hours to people, looking at whether it's a 4-day week or more likely a every Friday off, or even a 9-day fortnight. And they kind of tried out these different things. They asked people, and then they took through trials for the different ones and used the data from Viva Insights Premium as well as what people were saying to provide that evidence. Were they getting the same level of productivities? Were they seeing people kind of working extra hours? Were they kind of compensating for having that time by working longer hours and not necessarily seeing the benefit? And using all that evidence, they found that actually the 9-day fortnight was the model that fitted things best for the staff that they had. And it's that kind of example of coming up with a hypothesis, trying, experimenting things and using the data. I'm sure many of you did science at school and remember that kind of hypothesis, experimentation, testing, analysing the data and coming up with an output. And it's exactly that same scientific approach that you can use Viva Insights Premium to go in there. Now, I touched on the all employees there. As I mentioned earlier, there's that Viva Insights Personal that gives you as an individual access to a lot of that data as well. So as well as ascending praise and tracking how you are, you can start to book that focus time. You can start to look at how you're spending time within there. But not going to spend on that. Do check out Kat Beedham's session on there, because for managers and for leaders, it's all about taking that aggregated data from those larger sets of people with the secure, compliant controls that you need. So you know you're not going to be targeting individuals because it's aggregated to give those compliance controls that are needed. And you can build into that flexibility and description of those individuals that you can group together in different ways. So whether it's your org chart that you're talking about bringing through and understanding and slicing in that way, or maybe other things like the number of direct reports that people have, the time that people have been in an organisation. It could even be looking at diversity patterns that you want to bring in there, so you can understand different slices for different groups of people in that different way, ensuring that each of those groups always has at least 5 people in there. And I often recommend to bring that up to 10 or even 20 depending on the size of your organization, so you're not identifying individuals, you're grouping these things together, and that's what gives you those powerful insights to actually make those changes happen. Now, I did ponder a few different ways to kind of talk about this, and I thought about some case studies that Microsoft has. I thought about some clients we've worked with that I can use examples of. But, well, as you can see, it is Christmas, so I thought it was only fair we take on a Christmassy feel to this. So the question is, what would Santa do? Taking that example of Santa, who's got a lot of elves who work very hard all year round to make sure that everyone gets the presents that they want, that they have made and shipped out on there. So I thought, how would Santa use Viva Insights Premium? Bet you've never thought of that before. So we'll start through describing this. Let's pick up here within Microsoft Teams in the flow of work. Did it again. It's a good way of making this more entertaining as I go along. So there within the flow of work, we're in Teams and we're starting off on that top left in the tabs there in the home area. And you can see you get different trends here. So you've got those organisation trends of your organisation of 549 people, that actually less than 10% of employees collaborate outside their working hours. Employees, there's something wrong about that. Elves, that's what I mean. Less than 10% of the elves collaborating out their core working hours within there. And actually you can see for your team specifically, or helpers, Santa's handwriting's not very good. It's been having too many of those red wines, obviously. So you can see the different habits you've got with that team, how much one-to-one time you've spent within there. And so it gives you that summary from the homepage. And as you scroll down there, it brings that more of those personal insights that everyone will see. Because we're looking at Viva Insights Premium, I'm going to skip the stay connected and protect time and jump straight ahead to that effective meetings. So now with Viva Insights Premium, you've got those survey responses. So you can send out surveys after every meeting. Did it meet your needs? Did you understand the needs? Did you get a solid set of outcomes from the meeting? Have you got a set of actions being tracked within there? So you've got those different summaries that you can get through once you start collecting those survey responses. Unfortunately, nothing's showing in this environment. You've also got those suggestions for you, that targeted AI understanding. So things like all the meetings you organised last week started on time. Yes. Result, well organised Santa on there. Also, how can your meetings improve? So in this case, actually, a lot of those meetings, yes, they started on time, but we're missing the majority of the required attendees. So how can you improve those? It's giving you a nudge to say, well, actually, you've got people either don't need to be there, so don't invite them, or you need to give them more information to understand why they should be attending as well. Going down here, you can categorize your different meetings. So you can see a lot of those aren't categorized. Some of the personal, maybe that's Santa booking time to chat with Mrs. Claus and the rest of the family. Someone's been lazy here and just called it yellow category. Although it's just made me think yellow involving Santa and the snow. Okay, don't go there. I'm hoping it's nothing to do with that. But you can categorize. You can see there's customer ones within there. You can categorize your meetings to different views and start to understand the different breakdowns of that as well. I do notice there it is 3rd of December. So yeah, just be careful of those meetings as they get closer to Christmas. As we move on, started to look at those different habits. You can see for you, your habits, how many of your meetings are during working hours. Slightly astonishing that only 14% are in this case, which isn't great at all. How many of your meetings have had Teams links? Again, this may not be an issue. This could be something that it's hybrid, so the majority of meetings don't have Teams ones because it's got everyone there in person. I would say these days I expect almost every meeting to have a Teams one, even if it's so people can join in with their devices during the meeting and share screens from different parts of the room. But it will very much depend on how your organisation is and how you work as well. Looking at different things like overlap with meetings, have you got high attendance, did you multitask? It's giving you that insights to how you work across the organisation. Probably veering into the personal elements from this, but it's helping you make more effective meetings as well. Where it gets into the more premium parts is where it comes into this one-to-one time. Looking at your individuals, you can see that you had at least 30% of, at least 30 minutes of one-to-one time with 8 out of 15 of your team members, like Eduarda and Lydia. That doesn't feel like very elf names. Hang on, let me just check. Yeah, that's better. That feels like elf names. Big thank you to Imagine Forest for some examples there. So if we look at this now, we can see that Holly Bright Shoes had a one-to-one a week ago, nothing planned yet. Patchy Snazzy Bottom hasn't had a one-to-one for quite some time, but there's one organised for tomorrow. So we can see how... I'm not sure if that's Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. Snazzy Bottom there, but we'll find out tomorrow on there. We can see Patchy Cinnamon Pants hasn't had a one-to-one for 2 weeks on there and has nothing planned, so that's an important one to look on there. We can see that Figgy Bell Flakes hasn't had a one-to-one and it's got nothing planned, so it gives you that easy way of seeing where you've got those one-to-ones come through. It's worth noting that also comes through on the Viva briefing email, so really helpful nudges you get there. And you get other actionable insights. So here we've got a plan that has been nudged to set up those no meeting days. So days for people to actually get things done. Just block the calendar, don't allow anything to happen. And by making that a team-wide event, not individual, you help make that sacrosanct and say, look, I will defend you to say, no, you can't have meetings within that day. It makes it more definitive by saying you're going to be part of that as well. As we scroll down there, we start to see additional things like the team meeting habits. What this is about is how your habits are impacting meetings that you have with your team members, because those direct relationships are even more critical as to the way that you behave. If you set up meetings that overlap a lot, then people are going to believe that's the acceptable way of behaving. You may find it is fantastic, not a problem, but we know from experience and from the Work Trends Index the impact of having those overlapping meetings, the cognitive load of being to constantly decide which are the ones that I should attend on there. Reduce that load by being more effective with planning your meetings. Make sure that you actually RSVP, that you respond to those invites, and that you don't multitask during those meetings. Make them effective by being present. If you don't feel you need to be present, is that meeting actually worthwhile? Is there better time? Should you decline that meeting and give a reason why for it as well? Moving on to the next one, scrolling down a little bit further, we can see here the quiet hours impact. So we can see how much Santa here, actually 8 out of 15 of those elves are working are being contacted by Santa during their non-working hours. So you're invading into that personal time, kind of saying, actually, it's okay to work after hours, which it shouldn't be the culture that you're aiming to get with it. It gives you that insight on how you're spreading your message to the team as well. Moving on to the next level, we'll move on to looking at the organisation trends. So these organisation trends are very much about the leader level. So you can see we're starting to pick up the meeting effectiveness. So it's how much of an impact the meetings are having, how much are employees collaborating after hours across everything. And again, it gives you the little tidbits with this about the fact this is based on usage of Outlook and Teams within there as well. Now, we've talked a lot of this about being in teams. I'm not going to say the other one because I'm running out of wine at the moment, but all of this within teams. But there are times that actually you want to take that elsewhere. And here we can see one of Buddy's friends here actually highlighting the fact on that top right corner that you can download these data into PowerPoint. If I click on, you can see the different examples of what that looks like within PowerPoint. We're getting that date, the employees it covers, and this is a summary slide. If we click on, we start to see those different high-level numbers as we saw there within Teams, and then we can drill a little bit further into different ones, and on each of these it gives you that summary of what it's talking about. You'll notice in all these slides it's got the text as to why the rapid shifts in ways employees work can blur the line between work and home, and it highlights some of the number of that as percentages on there, and it helps give you hints on things like creating a norm of scheduling that focus time to get things done and using Viva Insights to encourage people to disconnect. We can look at that meeting effectiveness and scheduling shorter meetings on there. We can share through that manager connection. And I particularly love this one because this starts to show those trends of going up and down across time. So you can not only see that individual, but you can see how it changes over time. And this may fit with certain periods of your kind of billing cycles. It may fit within other cycles. Christmas, for example, always plays into this. And you can also see those different departments. So over this time, engineering have got a lot more collaborative, whereas finance haven't. And that could be driven by circumstance. It could be driven by natural cycle. It could be that end of year time where finance just get on and are processing numbers rather than having lots of long meetings within there. So it kind of gives you that nudges, won't tell you everything, but it helps give you those patterns that you can look through in that understanding of what's happening on there as well. So taking through, as well as that PowerPoint export item, taking it out of Teams, there is still that ability to bring workplace analytics in it. This will be migrating further and further into the standard Viva Insights within Teams as well. But at the moment, you still go to workplace analytics and it gives you those similar things like percentage of employees working after hours within there. But with workplace analytics, and again, this will be coming into the core part of Viva Insights, it also allows you to slice that data into different ways. So if we drill through some of those areas, it takes you into here to look at those different things. You can ask those different questions, such as which groups spend the most time in meetings, which groups attend the highest number, which groups have growing or fluctuating meeting hours. And then You can slice that by different things. So in this case, it's got the organization, the different departments, but you could get it by hire date, as I nudged on earlier, even the hourly rates. You can understand the different billing cycles. You can look at the number of direct reports. And depending on what you've set up with that data for your organization, you can right there slice it by different things. You can change that date range. So it gives you that ability to dig a little bit deeper. You can also, with Workplace Analytics, build up completely custom reports. So I've worked with one client that was looking at the number of emails being sent and emails being received, and wanted to kind of cut into the data, try and understand and see if it was particular departments, particular times that things were being sent, were they automated emails, and it allowed you to dig into a lot of that data as well. When it comes to digging into the data, it's not just about workplace analytics, though. It's also about Power BI. So you can actually bring forward that export into Power BI. You could customize reports and make them look like your ones. You can still bring those reports into those Power BI reports into Microsoft Teams, as you can show here. So it's in the no, I'm not drinking anymore. So it's in the from that one. But what's more important, and these are all out the box ones you're seeing here, which you can then customize either to get your look and feel. But because all that data's there, you could also bring it together with other Power BI data sets you've got. So you could be looking at absence data, you could be looking at geographical data. You can start to slice together these different things to look at the data in a way that's important to you as well. So there's the kind of 4 key ways that you can bring that data. You've got those embedded dashboards in Workplace Analytics. You've got that Teams Insight app within there, but you've got that more drill down way that you can do it within those Power BI templates, which you can extend to your own needs. And you've also got those custom scenarios in Workplace Analytics that you can build out plans to dig even deeper into that. So you can get that insight in the way that you want it within your organization and the way that you want to share it within your organization as well. And all this data is there to try and give that boost to productivity for employees, to make people feel happier, to support them in the way they... Sorry, something's missing on this slide. Oh, that's better. That's much better on there. To boost that well-being, make people feel positive and be able to understand what those triggers. Is it Christmas that makes it feel better? Are there natural cycles through the year? Great thing when you turn on Viva Insights Premium, you get 13 months worth of data included within that. So it's not a case of having to wait 13 months before you've got useful data. You can do some of that back analysis as well within there. And you can start to bring those happy elves into the office. I'm going to do a slight aside because you may have seen some of these elf pictures on there and seen down there in the corner that it says created by designer. I was actually using the new Microsoft Designer in Pilot on there, where you can give a description of an image and it will use AI to generate that image. So I asked for a happy elf in an office and I got kind of happy elf in an office that looks slightly disturbing, if I'm honest, but really useful way to bring those different bits of content and build the images that you want. I would say that to any comms out there, make sure you've got your branded images great there, because then you're going to see people not using really odd pictures like this as I have done today. So to wrap up, why Viva Insights, and specifically why Viva Insights Premium? The reality is that you want to get that change. Think about that scientific use of that. Yes, you can look at patterns on there, but really you want to think about changes you're looking to make. Get some evidence to back us, whether you're trying it and seeing how successful, or whether you're looking at some hypotheses of things that have already happened to back the suggestions you're making, so you can support the initiatives you've got. And with that ability to combine it with the Power BI, you can bring not only that that actual evidence of what people are doing, but that perception by bringing in survey data, whether it's in Glint, and there will be interactions directly with Glint and Viva Insights coming soon on there, or your other Pulse tools. It could even be Microsoft Forms, as simple as that. You can bring that data, munge that together using Power BI, and understand what people are thinking and what people are actually doing. Because I often find that we found this through experience, that the lag between when a difference happens, it can change within the evidence, but their perception of that changing can take a little bit longer for that to take place. And you can start to look at how long that general lag is to be able to realise that and build that into your plans. And that helps you also with Viva Insights to build those actionable insights too, to help you save the L's elf, to make them happier and joyous, if not a little bit creepy on there. Thank you very much for listening to me today. As I said at the beginning, please do have a happy holidays. Enjoy the rest of the festive tech calendar, whether you're going to listen to the other Viva elements or some of the absolutely fantastic other content that's being created in there. Enjoy your holiday break, wherever you may be, and I hope to see you in the new year. Cheers. And goodbye.